The upcoming Kia Sorento GT line is about to become the most affordable vehicle with remote parking via the key fob. The first non-luxury vehicle to offer this. But does it work, and do you actually need it to make your life complete? Or is it merely high-tech wank? Plus, you will see this technology in action in just a few minutes. Details next. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au, the place where Australian new car buyers save thousands off their brand new cars. Yes. Hit me up on the website. As reported last week, the moral compass of a particularly proud Shitsvillian Kia dealer went kind of Bermuda Triangle recently. And he leaked all of the details of the new Sorento, which is due in just a couple of months now, in comprehensive breach of his contract. Yes, some things so dependable you can set your friggin' clock by them. Kind of a big leak, 50 shades of incontinence at Kia headquarters, the whole boardroom, Niagara Falls. Very nasty business. A full report on what to expect with Australian spec Sorento is just up there, I think, for your clicking pleasure, should you so choose to bring yourself up to speed. And of course, I will wait patiently in that event because I'm here to serve you and not the other way around. Well, bottom line though, if you're in the market, wait for the new Sorento. Do not buy the run out now because the new one, it's just going to be so much better. Diesel versions of the new Sorento are going to roll out in July and the petrols will follow a few months after that, subject of course to unknowable zombie apocalypse developments, which by now we should have all learned to live with. The new Sorento GT line's party trick, of course, is that driverless automated parking via the key fob. And I've kind of already tested that tech. Not on a Kia, of course, but on a BMW 530D. It's been in the pending tray for some time, that little package, and Cletus is going to be dusted off to test that tech as only he can in just a sec, while the entire world watches. So, no pressure. And you can decide if this is a must-have on your next new SUV or not. I guess, trying to steelman the argument for this, if you've got some bulimic 1950s single-car garage, a fat new car, and an even more corpulent arse, which is increasingly common these days, let's not beat around the bush, this tech might come in rather handy indeed. But part of me really can't help thinking for most of us, it should come with an industro-sized dispenser of personal friggin' lubricant. Like, how first world can our problems actually become? My garage is so very tight, said the Ming Mole to the friggin' head mechanic. Anyway, the BMW 530D, in which I tested the tech, is a very nice car indeed. And of course, by I mean Cletus. Knock me down with a feather on it being a nice car, all right? The body, so rigid. So the handling is awesome, and it actually feels a hell of a lot smaller than it actually is when you chuck it around a few bends. And to me, it's the Goldilocks-sized BMW. The powertrain is like the proverbial iron fist in a velvet glove. It's got a 3-litre 6-cylinder diesel with 195 kilowatts and 620 newton metres. Hashtag awesome. You could say the mid-range performance is beyond adequate. And it delivers 4.7 litres per 100 Ks too on the combined fuel economy test, which is just this side of witchcraft. I don't know how they manage that. It's a great car for eating up the Ks, and it is deceptively fast, A to B in the real world. An M3 is certainly faster, but is it as easy to live with? Not so much, not for most people. The 530D will steam to 100 Ks an hour from stopped in 5.7 seconds, and anything under 6 feels rather quick. Having driven one for a week, I can tell why the New South Wales Highway Patrol kind of likes them. I was talking to a young Highway Patrol police officer just the other day, and no, not in that but officer, with all due respect, kind of way, with my licence out, here you go, buddy. Just a friendly chat at the roadside, upliftingly enough. And he indicated to me in kind of broad terms that he was not all that busted up inside over the demise of the Commodore and the Falcon as his regular work car. Go figure. I'm pretty sure the Pigpack 530D is a bespoke police spec donor car. It's got added poverty, presumably, plus a billion bolt-on computer screens, as they do, a donut holder, all the essential cop stuff, in other words, but still an awesome car. The one I drove kicked off with a list price of about 120,000 Shitsvillian micro pesos. That's before on-road costs, but the remote parking tech is extra in that case, $1,600 extra. And the Bavarians even have the gall to touch you up for $623 if you want Apple CarPlay. Soft closure on the doors is $1,150. And it is nice, but I'm pretty sure the cops don't get that. I mean, how would you slam someone's head in the door the better to elicit information? It seems counterproductive from a law and order point of view. Anyway, the big sound system in the car I tested, $6,500-ish. Ceramics surrounds for the controls, $1,000 for that. Pretty expensive porcelain, I'd suggest. A sunroof is $2,900. Massage seats at the front, which is great for the Ming moles. They really do appreciate that sort of stuff. $1,800. Metallic paint, couple of grand for that. Sun blinds, seat heating, and steering wheel heating as well. $2,800 all up. It's like 141,000 buckaroonies plus on-road costs, or 2 Sorento GT lines, which is expensive, I agree, but hell of a lot of car, and not a bad choice with the zombie pandemic one-time tax write-off of $150K for small business. There's that to consider. Much more povo for the cops, I think. No porcelain, clearly, but they get a bigger glove box, I suppose, just to fit the compendium of smash hits of Australia's worst police minister, David Elliott, here in New South Shitsville. Personal opinion. The Minister for strip-searching children, Minister for unlawfully firing prohibited weapons, seemingly, Minister for effing off on holidays during fire emergencies, and apparently Minister for misrepresentation of self as police officer. Well done there. He's quite dedicated in a particular kind of way, in my view. I'd love to tell you that I'm making all that stuff up about Mr. Elliott, but you can verify all these things independently and fairly easily online, sadly. And still, counterintuitively, politicians continue to wonder why the electorate collectively thinks they're just scumbag shitheads who are just in it for themselves. There's none so blind as those who won't see. Anywho, this clever/wanky auto parking tech, okay? Let's go now to award-winning investigative reporter Cletus Van Dam and see how the big dogs park in a sardine tin live on location in Shitsville. Award-winning investigative journalist Cletus Van Dam once again puts the head of his cock on the line to deliver another exclusive top-rating report. Mate, yet another exclusive top-rating report. It's called accuracy. Jesus. That's next. So it seems that even someone as deficient as your average multinational CEO is protected from himself here by awesome BMW tech. This won't do the gene pool any favours medium term, but it is pretty damn clever. Back to you, fat man. Very clever tech there. Fail-safe comms between the fob and the car, and I am quite pleased to report that the vehicle stopped automatically before touching the head of Cletus's cock, which is generally best practice, even before social distancing became the norm. If you know what's good for you. One never knows where that kind of thing has been, after all. Incidentally, and ScoMo will never tell you this, but as your next Prime Minister, I should say that the secret to social distancing is abundantly clear. Just get everyone to despise you. Job's done. And I must ask, have you done all you can to make Australia less shit today? Now, startup, shutdown, powertrain engagement, obstacle detection, communications, additional product liability, more things to be damaged and repaired in a minor collision, additional electrical power for the tricky key fob to power up the GUI and the comms, USB or inductive charging. I forget, but all that stuff has to be there. It's a lot of additional complexity to solve what is, at best, a very first world problem. Like, my parking spot, too tight, best move on. But a typical Kia, guaranteed they make it standard in the upcoming Sorento GT line. See, with the big Bavarian Autobahn eater, lots of stuff you'd expect to be standard is actually a lot extra, quite a lot extra. The heated seats and the steering wheel, the sunroof, even Apple CarPlay, all of that stuff, and it all really adds up when you're sitting there in the dealership ticking those friggin' boxes. They're not alone. I mean, the 3-prong-head suppository and 4-ring-head wanking tractor, they play options bingo at about the same level. Which is to say, not nearly as proficiently as wannabe premium brands like Jaguar and Land Rover. It's absolutely disgraceful the way that pair prey off people's addictions in that unprincipled manner. But the Kia spec strategy is quite streamlined and very different. Pretty much what you see in the brochure is what you get in the car. The top spec model generally comes as a works burger with few, if any, boxes for you to tick. So I'm tipping Wank Parking Pro Plus, and I dare you, I double dead dingo's donger, desiccated dare you, to call it that. It's going to be bundled up standard in the GT line, okay? Gonna be, for sure. Which begs the question, I think you'd agree, if you're a potential GT line buyer, will this system be a benefit to you? Will you ever actually use it? Was this developed in response to some burning customer need? Were people actually crying out for this? Or did some engineer at Bosch or an outfit like that just have some leftover budget to spend before the end of the financial year? Is it a cool gimmick that really is useless? One thing is absolutely certain. If you buy that GT line, you will pay for this tech, irrespective of its utility to you. As in, you will pay the cost of those components and the cost of their installation on the line, plus the amortized cost of all of the R&D required to integrate that system into your vehicle and get the lawyers to sign off on the additional potential liability, because guaranteed some dickhead is going to figure out how to use it to hurt himself or someone else. I'm tipping there's going to be a lengthy disclaimer. There certainly was on the BMW key fob every time you used it. And I also wonder how much you'll pay for a replacement fob in the event that you lose yours. You might, I don't know, drop yours in the hot tub, perhaps bravely striving to rescue the boss's secretary. In the BMW, which is a beautiful car to drive and in which Cletus had a proper tantrum during the return phase of the test drive, upliftingly, in the BMW, if you need a new key fob to do that parking, I think you have to stand next to the defibrillator before they tell you the friggin' price. It's like that. Perhaps most interestingly to me though, if we really need this system in the premium iterations of mainstream 7-seat SUVs now, at the 21st century post-zombie pandemic phase of automotive development, how about you do this for me? Fast forward as a thought experiment 5 or 6 years and tell me what pseudo problems we will need our vehicles to solve in the next generation of vehicles after this one. Let me know what you think about that. And isn't it interesting that this tech has metastasized from BMW straight to Kia and seemingly bypassed the Japanese? That's the shape of the 21st century car industry right there, which some people try really hard not to see. The Japs remain in hyper-sleep on stuff like this, and the South Koreans are ripping the tech straight from the Germans. It's very interesting indeed, although perception is yet to catch up. Thank you very much for watching.